Every day on this channel, I go through everything Elon said on X in the last 24 hours. And here's how many times Elon posted about each subject today. I'll cover everything he said about each topic before moving on to the next one. And starting with Tesla, Elon was in the lab this week. He said, "Great Optimus engineering and manufacturing review today. Imagine having your personal C-3PO and R2-D2. Optimus will be even better." And we learned recently he meets with the Optimus team at least once a week. And there's Optimus wearing Tesla's new bomber jacket that they released on their store. This coming from a post from Sawyer, who's saying that Morgan Stanley's Adam Jonas just said in a new note, "We think the proposal for Tesla's investment in xAI deserves more attention. Among a range of possibilities, we believe the proposal may be a testing of the waters for further investment or cooperation between Tesla and xAI down the road. Tesla's progress in robotics would benefit from xAI's progress in AGI. Data sharing between the two related parties may ultimately benefit from closer cooperation over time from a legal perspective. We reiterate our overrate rating on Tesla and note our bull case remains $800. And Elon reposted this. And there's another idea in the Tesla story that is emerging with tremendous upside. Elon talked about it on the Q3 earnings call. His words were, "Actually, one of the things I thought, if we got all the cars that maybe are bored, well, they're sort of, if they are bored, we could actually have a giant distributed inference fleet and say, if they're not actively driving, let's just have a giant distributed inference fleet. At some point, if you've got tens of millions of cars in the fleet, or maybe at some point 100 million cars in the fleet, and let's say they had at that point, I don't know, a kilowatt of inference capability, of high performance inference capability, that's 100 gigawatts of inference distributed with power and cooling taken, with cooling and power conversion taken care of. That seems like a pretty significant asset. So basically, each car has 1 kilowatt of high performance AI inference capability. Tesla wouldn't need to build giant data centers. The fleet is the data center. Tesla could turn their entire fleet into a giant distributed inference network spread across the world, powered by the batteries and AI in the car already. Mind blown." So Elon quoted that and said, "I am increasingly confident that this idea could work." And then he replied to Nick's post saying that it will be a big deal long term. And long term, this Tesla bear says that Tesla is a dead company in 3 years. Even Jensen and Nvidia are distancing themselves from Tesla. Of course, he's referring to Nvidia's recent partnership with Uber. Elon ruined the brand and relationships that were needed to excel his plans. This is why his comp plan isn't deserved, and Elon and Robin have been begging for the vote. Warren Redlick quotes that picture saying, "Tesla Q getting desperate. If Tesla is a dead company in 3 years, then Elon's comp package is worthless and there's no harm voting for it. Also, Nvidia is not distancing from Tesla. That's dumb." Elon said exactly. And here are Tesla's current 5 largest shareholders and how they voted in last year's ratification of Elon's 2018 pay package. Vanguard holds $115 billion in Tesla and they voted for. BlackRock, $95 billion, voted for. State Street, $52 billion, voted against. Fidelity, $30 billion, voted for. JP Morgan Chase, $21 billion, voted for. And unlike last year's ratification vote, Elon and Kimball Musk can both participate in this year's performance award plan vote due to Tesla's reincorporation to Texas. But don't get complacent and go vote. There's 8 days left. Elon said it is super important. Control of Tesla could affect the future of civilization. SMX said that Elon poured his heart and soul into Tesla. He was even willing to get arrested rather than let production stop. SMX is referring to COVID when Elon posted that Tesla is restarting production today against Alameda County rules. He said, "I will be on the line with everyone else. If anyone is arrested, I ask that it only be me." And so Desmond had that pasted onto a mug. And he said, "This is still my favorite Elon post of all time. I sort of wish he would have been arrested though. The mugshot would have been legendary." And Elon reposted that. And the robotaxi service area has been expanded in Austin. They're now offering the service to the greater Austin area. And here's a comparison of Tesla versus Waymo's robotaxi geofence map in Austin, Texas. Waymo is in blue and Tesla is in gray. Elon quoted that saying, "Tesla autonomous driving might spread faster than any technology ever. The hardware foundations have been laid for such a long time that a software update enable self-driving for millions of pre-existing cars in a short period of time. Farzad says Tesla did this in about 4 months, by the way, and Elon reposted this. Sawyer says this is a 44% expansion versus Tesla's previous geofence, and it brings Tesla's total Austin robotaxi service area to 243 square miles, which is 3.7 times larger than Waymo's. Waymo still operates a robotaxi fleet in Austin that's about 3 to 4 times larger though, and Elon reposted this as well. And back to that news about Nvidia announcing a partnership with Uber to help build the world's largest level 4 autonomous fleet, targeting 100,000 robotaxis starting in 2027. Nvidia will work with Uber to scale the world's largest level 4 ready mobility network, using the company's next-generation robotaxi and autonomous delivery fleets. The new NVIDIA Drive AGX Hyperion 10 autonomous vehicle development platform and NVIDIA Drive software purpose-built for Level 4 autonomy. These vehicles will be developed in collaboration with NVIDIA and other Uber ecosystem partners. Using NVIDIA Drive, NVIDIA and Uber are also working together to develop a data factory accelerated by the NVIDIA Cosmos World Foundation Model Development Platform to curate and process data needed for autonomous vehicle development. NVIDIA Drive AGX Hyperion 10 is a reference production computer and sensor set architecture that makes any vehicle Level 4 ready. It enables automakers to build cars, trucks, and vans equipped with validated hardware and sensors that can host any compatible autonomous driving software, providing a unified foundation for safe, scalable, and AI-defined mobility. So Uber will bring together human riders and robot drivers in a worldwide ride-hailing network powered by Drive AGX Hyperion-ready vehicles. Stellantis, Lucid, and Mercedes-Benz are collaborating on Level 4 ready autonomous vehicles compatible with Drive AGX Hyperion 10 for passenger mobility, while Aurora, Volvo Autonomous Solutions, and Waabi extend Level 4 autonomy to long-haul freight. Uber will begin scaling its global autonomous fleet starting in 2027, targeting 100,000 vehicles and supported by a joint AI data factory built on the NVIDIA Cosmos platform. NVIDIA and Uber continue to support a growing Level 4 ecosystem that includes AV Ride, May Mobility, Momenta, Neuro, Pony AI, Wave, and WeRide. NVIDIA launches the Halos Certified Program, the industry's first system to evaluate and certify physical AI safety for autonomous vehicles and robotics. Elon replied to this saying, "It's easy to get to pretty good self-driving, but insanely hard to get to great." And he says, "I just saw this in a conference room at Tesla Global Engineering Headquarters in Palo Alto. It says the future is autonomous, with what looks to be the roof of a cybercab." And Tesla's mission, written inside the Tesla diner, has now been changed to accelerating the world's transition to sustainable abundance. And Elon reposted this. And FSD looks like it's coming to Israel soon. The Minister of Transportation of the State of Israel said in a statement, "I've received many inquiries from Tesla drivers in Israel. We did it." Elon responded to that saying, "Cool, FSD is super convenient and increases safety significantly." And speaking of safety, Channel 10 Australia just said that Tesla has the world's safest car as a meteorite hits a Model Y in Australia. Andrew drives a Tesla, and that night he wasn't driving. The car was, and that night 110 kilometers an hour down the freeway, and when the window exploded, the car drove on nice and steady. Tesla, the world's safest car in a meteor shower. And there's the damage right there. And this is now officially the most badass police fleet in America. Each police Cybertruck is expected to save the Las Vegas Police Department $9,500 a year in fuel and maintenance costs alone. They're also the #1 most American-made police trucks. And Elon reposted this. And back to the Austin expansion, Everyday Astronaut said, "I've been in Austin for the last 2 weeks now, and I haven't seen a single robotaxi, but I see like 10 Waymos a day. I've been keeping my eyes out and I'm on the wait list to try it." Elon said robotaxi is the same Model Y that everyone who buys the car receives. It just has a slightly different software build. And today Tesla Asia posted that from Gigafactory Shanghai to Megafactory Shanghai, from supercharger sites to Tesla centers, we are now using rooftop solar panels to generate electricity. Together, they are expected to reduce more than 7,200 tons of CO2 annually. And Elon reposted that. And Omar says, I booked a dinner reservation on my phone using Open Table and it was automatically added to my calendar. Then I got in my Tesla and it automatically knew where I wanted to go. All I had to do was push one button and my car drove me there and pulled over in the valet. Somewhere along the way, without us noticing, the future arrived. Tesla said, your Tesla makes your day-to-day life seamless, and Elon reposted that. And checking out some of Elon's other companies, Neuralink not only is a way to help people, but once a certified, proven product, it will start to become a consumer accessory that will allow us to directly connect to everything. Cars, robots, augmentations, instant knowledge, 24-hour health monitoring. It will revolutionize humanity and our trajectory, and Elon reposted that. And this Neuralink employee released a new video saying, open the freezer, take out the pretzel, open the microwave, put the plate with the pretzel inside, cook, and enjoy. All via telepathy and pure brain power. And let's just watch the final few seconds here. Danish says, so many people think Neuralink is some evil mega corporation, but we're literally just out here helping the homies eat pretzels, lol. Elon says, yep, Neuralink is small, a pretty small company. And over at SpaceX, they've now officially surpassed its total number of launches from all of 2024, with more than 2 months still left in 2025. The company has launched over 2,500 Starlink satellites in this year alone, an absolutely incredible pace of progress. Elon said SpaceX is now launching roughly the same number of satellites in a year as the number of operational non-SpaceX satellites in orbit cumulatively. And here it is in action, deployment of 28 Starlink satellites confirmed, and there's some pictures for proof. Eric says Elon Starlink just made the service free to Jamaica and the Bahamas as Category 5 Hurricane Melissa makes landfall. It'll be free through the end of November. Elon is the best, and Elon reposted this. The Starlink team also enabled direct-to-cell service in Jamaica for all Liberty Caribbean customers. Emergency services, families, and businesses with a compatible LTE smartphone can now stay connected through apps and send and receive text messages through our satellites, even if terrestrial networks are impacted. And over at XAI, Elon says, know when to hold 'em. Here's a leaderboard featuring several AI models with Grok ranked number 1, and it looks like they're competing at playing poker, as Gypsy Team is a poker community with more than 200,000 participants, and it's showing the AI models' bankroll and winnings. Indeed, it is a screenshot from PokerBattle.ai's ongoing AI poker tournament, and Grok 4 is in the lead. And Dogan says Grok to understand, not just for us, but for whoever else might be out there. Elon said, for the light cone of future civilizations. So that naturally leads us to Grokipedia. It just launched yesterday, and Elon says it will exceed Wikipedia by several orders of magnitude in breadth, depth, and accuracy. And Mario breaks down why it's making the media meltdown, and why that's a good thing. Wikipedia is run by volunteers, but let's not kid ourselves. Ideological gatekeeping is baked into its DNA. And Wikipedia has held a near monopoly over online reference knowledge since 2001. And now an AI-driven open access rival shows up and suddenly every blue check pundit is in DEFCON 1 mode. And Kaizen says just 5 minutes on Grokipedia reveals that Wikipedia has been pushing far left talking points for years. And Grokipedia is to the right of that toward the center. Wikipedia consistently demonizes prominent voices on the right within the first few sentences. For RFK, in the first sentence, they call him a conspiracy theorist and anti-vaccine activist. Whereas the first sentence for Grok, he's an American attorney and public official serving as the USS of Health and Human Services since February 2025. And Elon reposted this. Here's another comparison. Wikipedia says conservatives say the Twitter files show what they call liberal bias. Grokipedia says, here's what the Twitter files found, specifically the mechanism for algorithmic demotion, how it was applied, and you can click to read it in detail. The spin in Wikipedia is insane. Grokipedia is so much more clear and unbiased. I knew Wikipedia was biased, but this is pretty insane. And Elon reposted that too. And this one's wild. Here's Grokipedia versus Wikipedia on Charlie Kirk. Grokipedia says, Charles James Kirk was an American conservative political activist, author, and media host renowned for founding Turning Point USA. Wikipedia says, Charles James Kirk was an American far-right political activist, author, conspiracy theorist, and a media personality. And Elon reposted that. And Polymarket quoted Elon saying that Grokipedia will exceed Wikipedia by several orders of magnitude. So Elon said, "What are the Polymarket odds on that?" This XAI employee said so many reviews have already poured in, and it's encouraging to see how much there was a need for something like Grokipedia. Grok integration and the ability to suggest if something is wrong is what gives Grokipedia a shot at becoming a fact machine. So if you find something wrong, instead of going the wired way of peddling trash, ask Grok, suggest changes, and help us make this one true source of information. As a side effect, it also helps you with your homework. And there was a Polymarket bet going on when Grokipedia would be released, and so Elon's believers walked away with millions as now it's released. And XFreeze calls Grokipedia the future of knowledge, and Elon reposted this. And Larry Sanger's the ex-founder of Wikipedia. He issues a warning to Wikipedia right after Elon launches Grokipedia. He said, "In light of Grokipedia's powerful launch, you'd better get your house in order or risk going the way of the Sears catalog. Are you listening yet?" Elon replied saying he should calm down. This is day 3 of the version 0.1 launch. And XFreeze says if you are in academia or an engineer trying to find information and you often end up on Wikipedia, you should definitely switch to Grokipedia. Grokipedia offers information that is corrected and fact-checked by AI using a first principles physics perspective, and it comes with the highest accuracy. On the other hand, Wikipedia is written by humans and often carries inaccuracies and imprecise information. And Elon reposted that. And throwback to when Elon offered Wikipedia $1 billion to change its name to Dickipedia. They did not accept the offer, so he made his own website, Grokipedia. Just Elon Musk tings. Elon has a laugh and says they should have accepted the offer. And Reddit Lies notes that the sources Wikipedia is citing to slander Grokipedia are articles from NBC News, Wired, The Washington Post, and Time magazine. LOL, laughing my ass off, even. Articles on Grokipedia have been described as manipulated to promote right-wing perspectives and Elon Musk's views, medical misinformation, and for removing content disfavored by Musk. Elon said same old media circle jerk. And Gad Saad just read the Grokipedia entry of yours truly, aka himself. It is exponentially fuller and better than the one of Wikipedia. The only problem is that Grokipedia does not mention my ridiculously good looks, nor does it reference my otherworldly silky soccer skills. Otherwise, excellent job Elon Musk and all. Elon says, Grok, don't forget to mention his handsome visage. And finally, Elon says, try Grokipedia.com. And Elon has a lot to say about what's going on in Britain today. He says a civil war in Britain is inevitable. It's just a question of when. And this all started yesterday when a 22-year-old Afghan national stabbed 3 people, killing a 49-year-old man out just walking his dog. This could be your brother, your father, your friend. How many innocent people need to die before something changes? Elon said enough is enough. A father just walking his dog. Jews just attending a synagogue on Yom Kippur. Schoolgirls just walking home. A hotel worker just doing her job. How long are we expected to tolerate people being murdered or sexually assaulted by people who should have never been in the UK? And Elon reposted this. John James says you can smell the anger across the UK tonight. Decent people have had enough. Elon said the flames of justice calling to the people have been lit and will burn brighter every day. He said, when Tolkien wrote about the hobbits, he was referring to the gentle folk of the English shires, who don't realize the horrors that take place far away. They were able to live their lives in peace and tranquility, but only because they were protected by the hard men of Gondor. What happened to the nice man who was brutally murdered while walking his dog will happen to all of England if the tide of illegal immigration is not turned. It is time for the English to ally with the hard men, like Tommy Robinson, and fight for their survival or they shall surely all die. And more reporting of the same story, Elon says again, enough is enough. James Price says, I walk my dog a couple of times a day in London. Millions do. Should we expect that being randomly stabbed to death by an Afghan who broke into the country is just a normal part of living here now? F that. Declare a national emergency and deport these threats. And Elon reposted this. Apparently the Afghan man who committed these acts arrived in the back of a lorry and was granted asylum. The leader of the Conservative Party writes, "People are exploiting our generosity, taking advantage of our kindness. This man, granted asylum in Britain, has been arrested on suspicion of murdering an innocent person and violently attacking a child. We must stop pretending that everyone who claims asylum is a good person in need of sanctuary. Many are dangerous, and when we ignore that, it's the British public who pay the price. That's why I've toughened conservative policy. Under our new rules, this man would never have been granted asylum in the first place. He'd have been deported. We will have stronger borders and zero tolerance for those who abuse our compassion." And Elon reposted this. Is civil war in Britain now unavoidable? And Elon says it was inevitable. He says civil war already began quietly several years ago, but only the other side was fighting. And replying to Elon's Tolkien analogy, Burnside says, "Unfortunately, the ring, as in the ring that Frodo bears in the UK, is the fear of being called racist." Elon replies saying, "That does not matter anymore." Mirthful Moment says Elon is right, where he once said that if tolerance means the end of Western civilization, then we cannot be tolerant. And Elon reposted this today. And Dominic says, "This is a video of a man being stabbed while walking his dog. It is one of the most terrible things you will ever watch. Why share it then? Because it is true. The more it is seen, the harder it is for people to deny what has happened and is happening. The sooner it gets addressed." And Elon reposted this. And Peter Lloyd says, "This is Mobarak El-Mutari, a small boat migrant from Kuwait. He's just been convicted of 20 sexual offenses against children, including possession of 4,000 vile images. Some of the victims were just 8 years old. He was sentenced to 3 years and 8 months. Elon said enough is enough." And Grok app downloads are surging in the UK. They're up to number 3 in the productivity category. And Elon reposted that. And God Sod says, apparently, when Elon reposts something of mine, it can't be because he agrees with the sentiment. Rather, it is proof that the Jew is so diabolical that he has managed to puppeteer Elon. Elon says, "You just make a lot of very important and insightful comments. Your books are a great book. Please expedite the one on civilizational suicide. That is urgently needed." And Naomi says, "I am seeking asylum in the US. My name is Naomi and I am the first German applying for asylum under President Trump due to political persecution. As a free speech advocate and supporter of the AfD party, I am the target of intelligence surveillance, state media defamation, Antifa threats. Thanks to Elon, I received a voice on X and was able to help make the AfD party internationally popular. The German government is supporting left-wing violence, covering up migrant crimes, and silencing dissidents with mass house raids. The tax-funded propaganda media monopolize the narrative and defame the Trump administration, even Charlie Kirk, constantly. As a representative for Germany's leading alternative media outlet, I vow to expose the truth. Only the AfD can save Germany. Thank you for your attention." And Elon reposted this. And AfD is now polling at 26%, ahead of the center-right party CDU and absolutely steamrolling the left party. Elon quoted that saying, "Only AfD can save Germany." AfD has made illegal immigration a central issue. Meanwhile, the pro-establishment party still can't decide if talking about it is racist or just inconvenient. Behind closed doors, the CDU leaders debate. Do we stick to the script and sink or blink and maybe survive? One thing's clear, AfD is not waiting around for an invitation to win. And Elon reposted that. And over in Japan, in an amazing gesture, newly elected Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi is donating 250 cherry trees for President Trump's Washington, D.C. beautification. This friendship will go down in history. Trump has a great bond with Japan. And Elon reposted that. And viewer discretion is advised for this next section. This is the detective in charge of Samina's rape case. He failed to arrest the perpetrator after an admission of guilt, instead offering him a voluntary interview. He failed to tell Samina it was not her word against his. He failed to tell her he believed her. He failed to tell her that she was the perpetrator's second victim, even when Samina was told he had raped before. He failed, Samina was failed, and Samina took her own life, age of 12. Elon said, terrible. And a horrifying story out of North Carolina. Wellington Dickens, who had been arrested 7 previous times, including for child abuse, has just been arrested for murdering his 4 children. Their bodies were discovered in his truck this morning. Elon said if extremely violent repeat offenders are not incarcerated, they will continue to repeat extreme violence on the innocent. Failing to incarcerate them shows a disgusting lack of compassion for their future victims. Morgoth says, here's what I don't understand. My feed is a relentless churn of rape, murder, and gore perpetrated by the immigrants the government has brought here. Now, even if we account for the fact that I'm in a far-right echo chamber, these stories are being carried by the BBC and Sky, etc., plus independents. So I think, how are leftists and liberals not seeing this? Have they become literal Eloi with no sense of self-preservation? Don't think that could be them or their kids. It just baffles me. Elon says it is beyond baffling. And San Francisco attorney Scott Grant is arguing that a man with 73 felonies, including killing 2 women, should be released without prison tomorrow. This is the disdain the city of San Francisco has for its citizens, and any official silent about it, including the new mayor, is complicit. And Elon reposted that. So, that is everything that Elon said today. You know, we've heard Tesla and Elon talk about that idea of the fleet offering inference compute as a collective before. But with this bull market right now and all of the progress we've seen around AI and all of the CapEx spending and all of the innovation, never before has that idea been so exciting. And he said robotaxi is going to be like the fastest scaling technology ever. And then we saw that NVIDIA announcement, the partnership with Uber, but you saw how many names are involved, and that's a lot of companies that have to get paid. And then we saw a lot of important comparisons between, what Wikipedia might say about something compared to what Grokipedia might say about something. And so it's nice to have another option for an encyclopedia on the internet. And finally, tragic story in Britain of this dog walker, this Afghan migrant who stabbed 3 people. Tensions in the UK just continue to rise. And if you guys want early access to these daily videos, you can gain access by joining the channel as a member, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.